Alright, so I thought this would be good for the channel and for myself to do a personal review for the Oscars. This will be similar to how I do my annual Super Bowl and NBA sports reviews. I know most of the population doesn't really care for the actual award show, so although I'll be giving my thoughts for the show that night, I also thought it would be good to hold myself accountable for the movies that came out this past year, since I do want to be a dedicated movie reviewer, and I am behind, and I have yet to watch all of these movies. I watch about half of them. The more I know about these movies, the more you know what to look out for. As long as I keep up with these release dates, and if you've been following me from the beginning, I'll admit, I'll be late to these movie reviews from when they release in theaters. I'll admit it. So thank you so much for being patient. and let's just go. Let's just go. Now, from my perspective, this is probably the first Academy Award show that I've personally watched in years. I can't remember the last time I watched a broadcast in its entirety. And the reason why I watched this show this year is actually kind of random. Because to be honest, there are certain days and weeks where my motivation and schedule gets thrown off. And that could be the reason why I'm so delayed on these movie reviews. And that's my bad. Discipline is key and something I'm desperately trying to work on right now. And the only way to work on that is simply by just doing. And that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing right here, right now. We're doing it. But as I started to watch the program, Jimmy Kimmel, who was hosting this year, I believe mentioned that they recently reduced the amount of awards given out during the show, and I guess increased their live musical performances, I'm assuming, because this year they actually said they canceled that and went back to the old way of doing things with more award nominations given out live. I personally appreciated this because when it comes to the Oscars, it makes sense to showcase and praise the amazing cinematic works of art from the past year. Live musical performances are cool and all that, but not really necessary for an award show for movies. Unless the music that they're performing is in the movie or it's a theme of the movie, I totally get that. And that's kind of what they did this year for two of the songs. But speaking of canceled, you already know that there was going to be a few Will Smith jokes, which I expected going into this. And I actually didn't mind from Jimmy Kimmel since he's a great speaker and presenter due to his experience from his late night talk show. I did think he did a great job overall, along with keeping the pacing throughout the night while keeping the corny jokes to a minimum. The music performances, as I mentioned, were all very well done and made sense, such as performing for the movie themes from Wakanda Forever with Rihanna to Top Gun Maverick with Lady Gaga. Plus they had their annual memorial part, which was also very nice with the live piano singing performance from Lenny Kravitz. Now this year there were 24 awards, or I should say categories, that were given out that night. And for someone like myself who only watched about half of these movies, I did actually learn a lot and know what to look out for in regards to movies that did damage this year, but in a good way. So going forward, I'll do my best to watch and review more of these movies to keep you guys up to date ahead of time. But for now, here are the winners from that night. As you'll notice, or you probably heard by now, that the movie to win this year in most categories was Everything Everywhere All at Once with 7 Oscars, so big congrats to the cast and crew who made this movie very outstanding. The movie's about an Asian family of immigrants who travel through the multiverse to bring the best out in each other to better their relationships. A lot of action, but also a lot of drama, which expresses the difficulties of loving someone. The studio who produced this movie was A24, and they also had another great film this year with The Whale starring Brandon Fraser. The independent studio of A24 broke a record for being the first to sweep the awards while winning the Best Director and Best Picture in the same year. However, this isn't their first rodeo, since you may remember them winning the Best Picture in 2017 for the film Moonlight. I expected this movie to do well at the Oscars since I did watch in IMAX and I thought it was very mind-blowing. However, I did not expect The Fabelmans or Elvis to take home nothing, since The Fabelmans was directed by Steven Spielberg about his own life, and you know he's movie royalty, plus the Elvis movie was also an amazing biopic performed flawlessly by Austin Butler. A film I was not familiar with that also won a lot with 4 Oscars was a World War I movie called All Quiet on the Western Front, so best believe this is a movie I have to check out. There was definitely great competition this year, but 2 categories that I knew were going to win regardless was Best Visual Effects with Avatar and the Way of Water, and Best Makeup and Hairstyle with The Whale. Because if you watch both of these movies, then you already know the impact that these films had in these categories. One category which was very close and caused some controversy online had to be the Best Supporting Actress, going to Jamie Lee Curtis over Angela Bassett. It appears that both women have never won an Oscar before, plus it looks like they did start their career around the same time back in the 1980s. I thought both of them delivered great performances in their movies this year, and I do think Angela had the better performance, but I could only see Jamie Lee Curtis winning because of the movie that she was in, which was Everything Everywhere All at Once. And keep in mind, this was for Everything for Every Damn Award All at Once. That should be the title for the sequel. You heard it first. But honestly, I think these award shows is similar to movies and life in general. There's always a story to be told. There's always a theme around it. And the theme this year was all about that movie, and rightfully so. I mean, major shout outs to the Best Leading Actress and Best Supporting Actor from this movie. Michelle Yeoh, which I'm sure most of you have to recognize since she's been acting in movies for 40 years, finally got the recognition she deserves with becoming the first Asian woman to win Best Actress. And then you have Ke Huy Quan becoming the first Asian to win Best Supporting Actor in 38 years, and what's very heartwarming and significant about him is that he made his first acting debut as a child damn near 38 years ago with Harrison Ford Award in Indiana Jones. Ke Huy Quan also stepped away from acting 20 years ago, and this was one of his first movie roles in a very inspiring comeback to never give up on your dreams. So you already know how I'm going to transition next to end this review. Similar to Ke Huy Quan taking a break from acting for years and struggling to make his return, my guy, our guy, Brendan Fraser made the comeback of the century with his brilliant performance in the movie The Whale, earning him the Best Lead Actor this year for also his first Oscar ever. It was a very close race from all the award shows between him and Austin Butler, who played Elvis, and don't get me wrong, I would have understood if he won the Oscar over Brendan, but would have been a little upset. And reason being is because since after watching The Whale, I just haven't watched a performance like this since The Joker with Joaquin Phoenix, who also won Best Actor in 2019. Now, movies have always been my first love of entertainment, so with that being said, I really hope to continue and find new movies to share with you all. The Oscars, like many award shows, may not be the most exciting to watch, but I did think that this year at the Academy Awards, they did a good job of distributing the awards to the most deserving, which I would say is one of the best underdog comeback in years from actors Michelle Yeoh, Ke Huy Quan, and Brendan Fraser.
Mom, I just want an Oscar!
Now, I know for this video that it's a little different from what I usually do, but I do think that going forward for the channel, it will be beneficial just to recap all the movies from this past year. And this is also if I was able to watch and review any, along with the great movies that deserve the recognition that they deserve. I'm considering this a personal review since I'm sharing with you who I think would or should win. So next year I hope to watch more movies in each category to give you guys more specific feedback from each of those categories. But let me know how you felt about this year's Oscars. Did you also feel that everyone who did win deserved to win? It's a hit or miss like everything else, but if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed this review, this recap of the Oscars, then consider liking this video, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. This way you can stay up to date with more fun reviews uploaded weekly. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all on the next one. Peace.